what you see on the display here is how the vehicle sees the world. So you'll see a few different things. So the dots that you see there are actually LiDAR detections, which is laser LiDAR detections. So you'll see the dots there.
Okay.
And then what you'll see otherwise is the X's. Those are radar detections.
Ah, okay.
And so we're taking in all of the information that we see around. We have 360-degree sensing with LiDAR and radar.
Okay.
And we also have forward vision.
Yeah.
And then we're fusing all of that together, and then the vehicle is making decisions on where to go. You also see, sometimes you'll see some lane markings. The lane markings here are actually very difficult for us. If you'll notice, they're not painted at all.
That's right.
They're just spot stops. So that's actually a challenge that we saw as soon as we came here. Because in California, at least in Northern California, we don't have that issue. Most of the roads have white lines.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Oh, look at that. I understand what the bridge is there too.
So here we've entered into autonomous mode.
Oh, okay.
So
I didn't know he clicked on it.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh yeah. It's not driving it. It's driving by itself now.
yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's let go of the steering wheel completely.
So it could be the dots right now then. Oh, or is it depending on that yellow line?
Yeah, there's like another
It's using
vehicle
a
out
few
there.
different things. We're fusing information from
Oh, we passed
we're
it.
using lane detections, but we're also using information that we're getting from the sensors about what is around the vehicle. And we're kind of using what we call map matching to kind of place us within the map. So we have an ADAS map for this route,
Okay.
and it can tell us what.
How is it reading the speed limits?
So that's
Map data, right?
So you can do both. The display here is actually the output of our Mobileye system. So Mobileye is a partner that I've been working with for a long time. The speed of the vehicle, though, for this route that we've configured is actually based on the map data. So it's part of the ADAS map.
Okay.
But depending on the function or what you want to do, you could either use both one of them or both. In this particular case, we're using the map information just because sometimes the camera can't always see if there's a sign out of the field of view, we'll miss it. And it was very important for us to make sure that we stay at the speed. That actually came up with the JMB as well.
So the other gentleman, he was telling us a little bit about this camera array. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yep, so behind there is a Mobileye system, which we use for sign recognition, and mainly lane markings, and then also some object detection. The other camera is an HD camera that we're using for traffic light detection.
We heard that it can detect, has right now the color detection and also, I guess, the object detection are in two separate cameras. Is that correct?
Yeah, so the Mobileye is the one on the left, that's object detection, and then the camera on the right is for the traffic light detection. Can you zoom out the display for start? One more. So there you see, this is where we're showing V2V. So the vehicle behind us now is kind of on the display. There is just that circle that's V2V, and so what you'll see there is you'll see it with DSRC, but then you also see that we're detecting it with both LiDAR and radar.
I'm sorry, what is V2V?
V2V? Vehicle to vehicle.
Oh, okay, I'm
So
sorry.
it uses DSRC, which is dedicated short range communication.
Which vehicle would that be?
It's this, just this Ford right here. Yep.
Is that also your vehicle, or is it a...
That's just it's a rental car that we've equipped with the V2V technology.
Okay.
So it has just the same communication box that we have in our car.
I see.
Now I noticed that there's like certain specs, like behind us.
So
and
those
something like
specs, those dots, that's the LiDAR detections.
that? Okay.
So all of that, you've got three different sensors, I'd call it, detecting that vehicle behind you. You've got the V2V information, so they're sending us position, GPS position, and speed. And then the X is the radars. And so it looks a little funny because the X's are kind of on a two-dimensional map, but the LiDAR is on a three-dimensional map, so the LiDAR is actually like above.
Okay.
So that's why it looks a little weird.
I see.
But those are all of the same object.
So all these abstractions that we're seeing, like over here as well,
Those are all
these
LiDAR
colors.
detections of these buildings and things here. They're all reflections. So you'll see the steady one on the right is this wall.
Oh, okay. Wow.
he's not stepping any of the brake pedals or gas, anything like that.
Currently, yeah, he's not. Our drivers are trained to be very conservative, though, so if they see anything that's unusual, they may either assist or completely take over. At any time, he can press the brake or press the gas and override the system. So he may be hovering, depending on it's the comfort of the driver. Something like right now, you might get a little more comfortable. Generally, we'll be hovering over the brake or the gas. Just to be safe.
So as soon as you step on the brake,
Yeah, look at that. He's not on the brake or the gas.
Right, the auto belt.
It's you can always add, but the way we've implemented the system currently, but I think it would be different in production. Is it doesn't deactivate the system. Like I think you're thinking of like a cruise control, where you press the brake and it deactivates. Currently, our system doesn't do that. We can always add braking or add acceleration, but in order to disengage the system completely, we have to press that button. I don't know if you saw it there. There's an auto
one right here,
manual
right?
button there.
Right.
The way we've implemented it here, and remember this is a development vehicle. In order to engage it, you need to twist it, so you can't automatically accidentally engage the system. And at any time, if you want to disengage it, just press it down.
Okay.
So actually, the drivers, what we're trained, we basically have our hand over the button at any time. So if we see anything weird, that's generally the first thing we do.
It's amazing. It's actually turning itself too. So it says, I'm assuming it's been pre-programmed with the route, and that's how it knows where it's going.
It's programmed somewhat. So if you notice all of the blue lines on the road, that's mapped lanes. What we're doing is the vehicle is being told, you need to leave the go lot and come back to the go lot. But what we've done is we've put, like I call them, breadpoints, like breadcrumbs that you have to go through.
Okay.
So it's finding the best way to go through those points and go back to the go lot.
Okay.
And so, it's turning into certain lanes because that was like the next turn is left. So it's like that.
Yeah, and it's obviously it's aware of the vehicles around it since it's keeping its proper distance from the other parked cars, and I guess it's modulating its speed as well depending on the distance from the other vehicle. I'm smart enough not to go through the yellow light. My wife isn't that smart.
So I noticed it's kind of doing two brakes, like it kind of.
Yeah, so that's more of like a control problem.
Okay.
That we've had some time with this car and something that we probably do a little bit better. But kind of all of the situations, that's one where like it sees a light, but it's also controlling to the car in front of it. One changes and then goes, and then also it went from green and then back to yellow, back to red. So it's something like that.
Okay.
The other thing on the display you'll see here is let's see, the crosswalks here are mapped.
Cars too.
And we're actually, so we've highlighted it green here. If we happen to get some pedestrians to cross, that'll actually turn red if it understands that a pedestrian is going to get in our path.
Oh, there's some potential pedestrians if they make it during this time.
Yeah.
That would be kind of neat to see.
So this one has a thermal sensor also, right?
A thermal sensor? We have a IR camera on the vehicle for night vision applications.
Okay.
We're currently not using it.
Okay.
It's kind of our future plans.
Currently, I know that this is just a research vehicle. Do you have any idea how much data is being generated?
People walking by now.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, so that you see there, it actually turns red because it knows not to.
Oh, the Lexus. Yeah, do you?
And I'd say it's, while there are some research-grade sensors on this car, it's more of a development platform. So what we're trying to do is, Delphi has a long history in radar. So all of the radars on this vehicle are production-grade automotive-grade sensors.
Okay.
And they're things that we have in production with customers.
Okay.
So we're using those as building blocks to build up an autonomous platform. And we're using this. The reason it has so many sensors is that we're trying to figure out which is the right sensor suite depending on the application. So if you're interested in doing traffic jam assist, maybe it's going to be a subset of the sensors on the vehicle. We don't actually think you need 20 sensors on the car to do traffic jam assist. So depending on that, we can actually turn off different sensors and test our algorithms to see how they work with the sensors.
This is interesting.
Yeah, so actually, Scott went into manual mode here because we'll go around this truck. Unfortunately, the way the system works right now is it detects this as a stop vehicle. we would have just stopped, but then we
Just
would have waited.
indefinitely.
We'd have stayed there
We would have
forever,
waited,
yeah.
Okay.
So we don't have
Okay.
currently we don't have the ability to detect that the hazards are on, so that we know to go around it.
Okay.
So that's potentially a use case for V2V or something, right? You could send a hazard message that says, "Hey, I'm stopped on the vehicle."
Okay.
So then at that point, then the car would know to go around.
All right.
In this particular case, we don't have that.
All right.
So we have to
Yeah, that was a pretty interesting use case right there.
Yeah, actually, and maybe when you're inside on one of the screens there, we talk about B2B, and one of the use cases there actually shows like the car's coming, or your car's coming around the curve, and there's a stop vehicle on the other side, and like basically a blind spot, but it's communicating the message wirelessly, so you can actually get that before you see it. So that's kind of, it supplements perception systems, because if you wait till the perception system sees it, it'll be too much.
Do you know what the cost is for the development of this vehicle?
This specific vehicle, or just in general for these systems?
In general.
I don't, and I can't put a number on that actually. So all of the automotive grade sensors are in production. So the radars, have come down the cost curve significantly in the last couple of years. To the point where they're under $100. But the LiDAR sensors are still kind of research grade, so those are still quite expensive. But there's been a lot of development in LiDAR recently. There continues to be a lot of interest.
Okay.
And so, we're working with partners on that and trying to understand what that is and how that cost curve comes. We believe the cost curve will come down, but it hasn't yet.
Do you have any feel for when a vehicle like this could become a mass-produced vehicle? I think some of the Forrester, those kind of research companies are predicting that autonomous vehicles will be available somewhere around 2020.
So maybe this is it's probably more my personal opinion than I'm not necessarily Deltice, but I think it depends on your level of automation. I think for something like this, the challenges are perception in general. While we can handle this route fairly good, there's always some scenarios that it may not be handled. I mentioned the bot stops before that are very difficult. Even traffic lights, depending on where you go, can be very difficult. There's intersections here in Las Vegas that have like a blinking